Hi, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. I'd appreciate that. Columbo. Once you know, you're just like Columbo. It is very interesting when I think about Columbo, and I've made a video about this before, but for some reason I want to speak about it again, and maybe this will be in a different way with the same context, obviously. Columbo, I'm a 70s baby. Columbo was a detective that would often know what these people did before they did. He knew what they did before they discovered he knew. And it was interesting because he could move amongst them. He would go over and visit them when they were the prime suspect, and he would ask them a series of questions, but he wouldn't ask them he wouldn't bombard them. He would pretty much he would throw a teaser out there and allow them to run with it and allow them to just keep speaking and keep speaking and keep speaking, much like our judicial system is when they are interrogating you. When police are interrogating you, they just start asking you just a few questions, an open-ended question, and then you begin to just run with it, almost like fishing. You don't just yank on the hook. You allow the fish to run with it until he embeds that hook deep inside of his jaw, and then you yank on it to secure and ensure that there is very, very small chance that it will come out. And so this is what they do. They allow you to start talking to a point. You divulge certain amounts of information, and they have this notated. So when you go back and they ask you, they're going to ask you these questions probably 2 or 3 different occasions. And what you're going to do is you're going to, if you're lying, tell the story differently every single time. And additionally to that, you're going to leave out some stuff. And then when you realize it, you've left something out, you're going to do what we call put fillers in. Now, there are 2 types of people that tell stories differently. Truth tellers, like a lot of us here are, and you have liars. Truth tellers, when they tell the story, it will have lots of variations depending on how long passes before they tell that story again, say to a different person or the same person. It will have the exact same information with a few variations. They may even leave some stuff out as well. But when they're questioned about something like, oh, I thought you said this, that, and the other happened, you'd be like, oh, okay, I forgot that part there. And they will embrace that and say in agreement, yeah, I did say that. Yeah. And they will continue. It will be a harmonious conversation. But with a liar, they will stumble. They will grasp at straws. They will end up gaslighting the person that accuses them and calls them out. They'll be like, I never said that. And you'll turn around, the accuser will turn around and verbatimly repeat the story back to them in exactly the way that they said it. Now, there are some small cases where the accuser may have either heard them wrong or forgotten the story himself. Now, in those cases, they will right away say, oh, yeah, you're right. If they're not being manipulated and gaslit, and I hope this is not confusing you, but back to point, Columbo would go and ask a question and they would continue to talk. And the funny thing about Columbo that he would just, he wouldn't let on that he knew that they were, in fact, he's concreted the verdict. He knows that he has this man or woman. And he would leave out the door or wherever he's at. And as he's leaving and exiting, he would make a comment. And the comments were epic because you sitting there watching this program, shaking your head saying, wow, that's a beautiful thing to know what they know. and they didn't even know that you knew what you knew. That's you, the empath. When you're awakened, we know what a narcissist is going to do before they know. They know what they're going to do in many ways as far as the premeditation or on the fly. I'm not really saying that in that way. I'm saying we know the pattern in which they operate. And we can anticipate it. If we're sitting there in conversations like many of us are who are awakened now as empaths, we got a front row seat. We got center stage to the BS. And if any of you guys know what I'm talking about, please comment. And I know you do. To be awakened sitting amongst a narcissist and allowing them to tap dance and cartwheel and backflip with their BS. And to sit there and just entertain in a very stoic, subtle, non-assuming way. A lot of them sense what they don't know or understand, but they sense it because you're not operating or reacting or moving in the way that they are normally accustomed to the people or the guinea pigs that they're playing their game on. And because of that, they will stop in mid-sentence conversation and try to do what we call put fillers in by their behavior or even that conversation. They might say, if you're in a sitting place where you're eating, they say, oh, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. They will go to the bathroom and come back and they will be silent. Because what they've understood in a small-minded way is that this person is making me feel awkward and I'm telling the story. This is the Columbo effect. Once you know, you're like Columbo. So that's a very, very, very liberating thing to be able to know and anticipate what these type of entities will do and even what they won't do in any given situation. And a lot of times we may give them too much rope to hang themselves, and it lingers before they actually do that. That's why it's very important that once we understand that we're dealing with what we're dealing with, the best thing to do is to distance ourselves from them. A lot of times it will be difficult because they latch on and they don't want to let go. They're like a bed bug, which I've never experienced. But what I hear is you have to dispose of every single thing within that house if you have them. Clothing, mattresses. A lot of times you have to go and get a motel room. The clothes you're wearing, you have to throw away just to eliminate the possibility of these things hanging on. And that's how it is with a narcissist. You must eliminate every and any type of communication from them. And sometimes you might not be able to do it all at once. You may have to do it little by little, but you must not procrastinate. You must use every inch or every opportunity, every moment, every second of the day to formulate that isolation and break those ties and break that communication with them. Because the longer you linger and allow your empathy to procrastinate, they sense this too. They sense when you're trying to get out of that interaction with them, and they get desperate. They start snooping and looking for things to cause you to hang around. A lot of times they'll play the victimhood, like they need you to come and assist them in something. My car broke down. Can you come over here and do this and do that? And all they're doing is playing on your empathy and your sympathies because they want and need you in a way that a lot of people who are healthy don't need other people. They need you for the very breath they breathe. So when you know, guys, you're exactly like the detective Columbo. That being said, bless.